Coming up on today's edition of the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports, I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out here with us on the program. I want to take a look at some rookies and young players who have been showing out for the 49ers during training camp as well as in the preseason. And considering how expensive this Niners team is, how they're getting older, it's really important for the Niners to have some of this young talent start to emerge, progress, develop, and make some strides. And with that, I think it's a perfect player to start off with in Jordan Mason because he might be the most improved player on this Niners roster. I have been very impressed with what I've seen from Jordan Mason during training camp, in the preseason, and I'm a believer in the player because at Georgia Tech, he ran with physicality that was very impressive. His college coach, Jeff Collins, likened him to Marshawn Lynch. So far in his NFL career, he hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities, but when he has run the football, I feel as though he's always picking up 5, 6 yards per catch. So the improvements that he's made, I think, have been very impressive and noticeable. And I think that with Elijah Mitchell continuing to get hurt, Jordan Mason is the RB2, and you combine that with the fact that he has really streamlined his development. He runs hard. He runs decisively. He is tough. He's physical. He's the one-cut runner that is a good scheme fit in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and he was great against the Titans on that opening drive, averaging 5.7 yards per carry, and he scored that touchdown to put San Francisco up 7-0. What I want to see more of moving forward from J.P. Mason, pass catching. He has shown that so far during training camp. We didn't get to see it in a limited sample size against Tennessee. He did say that's something that he worked very diligently on during the offseason because he was watching Christian McCaffrey last year, and he said to himself, I need to get a jugs machine. I also like the accountability that Jordan Mason has taken as a player. He has said, I need to get better as a pass blocker. I need to get better as a pass catcher. I didn't see eye to eye with legendary running backs coach Bobby Turner to start my career. But I have to correct all of these things. He has seemingly, and he's off to a good start. Young player number 2 is Dominick Puni, the third-round pick out of Kansas, who was a left tackle at Kansas for a majority of his career. Also played right tackle and left guard, but now he's playing right guard for the 49ers, something he didn't really do at Kansas. Got the start against Tennessee, played very well, did not give up a pressure or a sack, and 14 pass blocking opportunities. According to Pro Football Focus, he struggled against the run, but when I went back and watched the tape, I actually thought he was very physical in the run game. And I'm not overly concerned about that. Keep in mind that Kyle Shanahan's offense, especially the run game, has a lot of nuances to it. It's a very complex scheme. And what's more difficult, pass blocking or run blocking? Pass blocking for sure. So if he has that down and he can continue to improve with this run blocking, he's taken steps in the right direction. Kyle Shanahan, Chris Forster, the offensive line coach, they have said he's the real deal. He's doing a hell of a job. And I don't think that Dominick Puni is going to relinquish that role as this team starting right guard. And I think that when you think about this football team, the organization, all things considered, it's a great development that some of these rookies seem to be contributing right off the jump. That also includes the safety, Malik Mustafa out of Wake Forest, another draftee from this 2024 draft class. Mustafa is a fascinating athlete. He's ripped, he's felt, he's built. He almost looks like a mini linebacker playing the safety position. I really like his versatility. He can play deep. He could play hybrid linebacker. He could play in the slot. He did that at Wake Forest. This is also a player who's a grinder and is very tough in between the ears. He was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school, so he has earned everything that he has been given. In that preseason game against Tennessee, that hit on the goal line stop on 4th and goal, read the play, diagnosed the play, shot the gap. It was a great play from Malik Mustafa, and the speed and range there from the deepest part of the field as the safety on the defense was also of note there. And Kyle Shanahan, just like Dominick Puni, he said about Malik Mustafa, I love the way that he played. He also jokingly said it was good to see him hit somebody else because we know that he's a big hitter. Here's what Shanahan had to say about Mustafa. I loved how he played. You could see how he did it on special teams. He had no hesitation. He's a hitter, but sometimes guys get in that first game and they slow down a little bit. He was the opposite. He showed up on special teams, and the special teams play that he made was terrific. He showed up on a 3rd and 2. They got to our middle third player, which usually is at least an explosive, and he met him at 3 yards, which is big. The goal line stand, unbelievable play. We had a missed assignment, so we had no edge player, so he was actually the middle third guy, just filled it real fast in a blink, and he knows how to hit. So it was nice that the guy went backwards, and that hit was on former Michigan running back Dwayne Haskins. And what Kyle Shanahan pointed out there, missed assignment, no edge player. So Mustafa saw it, he reacted, made the play. With that, let's pop up today's poll question. Which young Niners player are you the highest on right now currently? Drop me a name down in the comment section right now. More young studs to get to, but first, have to give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. And it's the #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. A couple of football specials. 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free dubs. So don't miss out on this deal from Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. Our selections that we like. Calvin Ridley, big ticket free agency signing for the Tennessee Titans. Let's go with more than 899.5 receiving yards. T. Higgins, more than 899.5 receiving yards. And then Cooper Kupp, more than 974.5 receiving yards. So download the app for free, create an account, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS for up to a $100 deposit match. Young player number 4, showing out for the Niners. Second-year linebacker Dee Winters. He plays aggressive. He plays fast. He plays decisively. He has good feel and instincts. His speed sideline to sideline and vertically allows him to wreak havoc anytime he's on the field. And I know that Pro Football Focus did not grade him highly. Run game grade against Tennessee of 30.2, a pass coverage grade of 39.4, but I saw some big flashes. The 1 TFL, the big hit on Will Levis after a blown play from him, he was able to recover mentally and within the defense. Those are things that you want to see from a young player. Now, he needs to be more disciplined because he plays so fast. Sometimes he can over-pursue. He takes himself out of the play. And in a real game against number ones, that can lead to an explosive. But I love how he plays with reckless abandon. He needs to bottle that a little bit. But there's a foundational element that you can build off of with Dee Winters. And wouldn't surprise me if at some point he takes snaps away from Devondre Campbell or plays ahead of Devondre Campbell. He was recruited to TCU out of high school as a safety. He has added a lot of weight since then because he's had to, but that safety build and range and aggressiveness certainly shows on tape. And then young player number 5 who's been balling out for the Niners is second-year safety, Ji'Ayir Brown. I was so high on him at Penn State in my previous job. I covered Penn State football, so I got to see a lot of Ji'Ayir Brown up close and personal. And the Niners really like players who have played a lot of college football, who play with feel, pace, instincts, who can read and diagnose plays, who have versatility, who have these athletic backgrounds, like Dee Winters playing safety, converting to linebacker. Ji'Ayir Brown checks a lot of those boxes. And when he had to fill in for Talanoa Hufanga last year, I thought he played very, very well. And he made some big plays, including an interception off Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Overall PFF grade of 77.9, a run defense grade of 77.5, a coverage grade of 74.5. That is well above league average. That came on 275 coverage snaps, 2 picks, and did have 6 missed tackles. Other intriguing youngsters, Nick Zackelj, climbing up the depth chart a little bit at that center spot. Ricky Pearsall, love his footwork and route running. We just need to see more from him because he's been injured. Same can be said for Jacob Cowing. He was making some splash plays, and then he tweaked his hamstring. Tatum Bethune led the Niners in tackles in the preseason game against Tennessee. Didn't really test all that well, but a player who plays with feel and instincts and is smart and heady. And then Jalen Graham, who, like Dee Winters, was a late-round linebacker draftee 2 years ago. He is also popped. So if you enjoyed today's show, I want you to give me a real one down below in the comments section. If you love the Niners Report, also give me a real one. And as always, thanks for supporting us.